Hi, I'm the academic astrologer, and I'm here to talk to you today again about fertility astrology. So, I was trying to research different authorities on fertility astrology, and it was fairly easy because there was really only one out there that I could find, at least one that was reputable, that seemed to have some sort of method or that made sense to me about it. And that was the book Fertility Astrology, a modern medieval textbook by Nicola Smuts-Allsop. And there's a few excellent webinars out there by Kepler College, and I'm not sure if Chris Brennan as well. A few good webinars. She does have her own channel as well, but there's not a lot of information from her out there. I did start reading her book. I feel like she's brilliant. It was a little bit hard to follow, maybe because it is the medieval astrology and it's a little bit more archaic, but it was slightly hard to follow, but I still really appreciate her wealth of experience. She seems to have had numerous instances of predicting pregnancy or helping people achieve pregnancy, working with IVF doctors. And one of the big concepts of the book, I'll probably break down different parts of the book, but one of the big concepts is the Almuten of pregnancy. And this goes back to medieval astrology. Per the book, Almuten is a method that uses all of the points and planets in a chart that might have a say in the outcome of a topic in order to determine a winning planet which has the most say over that topic and can be used to make accurate predictions. So this comes from Omar of Tiberias-Book of Nativities, which is an ancient book that she read. So the formula that he came up with, at least it sounds like it was mostly him. She may have tweaked it. So you look at the ascendant. That's because you can't, it's really difficult to have a healthy baby when you as a person are unhealthy. I mean, it's possible, but especially as we age, it becomes more and more important to have optimal health, so that fertility continues. So we want to look at the ascendant. Also, the ruler of the ascendant is important as well, because that's also affecting your ascendant, and that may be in a different house. So you'll want to look at the ruler of that ascendant. So let's say you have a Libra first house, then you would be looking, where's Venus in the chart? What are the aspects to Venus? Is Venus happy? Is Venus not happy? And then next you would look at the fifth house cusp. Which sign is on the fifth house cusp? And then where is that ruler of the fifth house cusp? And I should also go back and say that she uses Placidus for this. I personally use whole sign house, but I did have to switch to Placidus to trial this particular method. Next, you also look at the position of Jupiter, because Jupiter is one of the benefics that might affect pregnancy. So we want to see, where is Jupiter? What is the condition of Jupiter? How is it aspected? Is it in fall? Is it in exaltation? We also want to look at the moon, because the moon does affect pregnancy. And in the book, she talks about how the moon rules over the uterus and fertility in some ways. And then you also want to look at the moon's ruler. So if the moon is in Virgo, where is the ruler of Virgo in the chart? And again, what is their status? Are they happy? Are they conflicted? And then lastly, you're going to want to check if there's traditional planets in the fifth. Now, of course, we will want to see what kind of planets are in the fifth that are not traditional, such as Uranus or Pluto. These may have significations as well in the journey, but primarily we're looking for those traditional rulers, because that will add into that formula. I actually trialed this method. It was a little bit difficult to follow. I did have to practice it several times. I had to watch several example videos. I had to study the examples in her book. But she has a point system that she's worked out, or that Tiberias worked out. So it's according to the essential dignity. And essential dignity is what I was talking about. Is the planet in a place that supports its core function or fights it? So we're looking at which sign the planet is in, but we're also looking at, is it happy in that sign? Is it hurting that sign? 5 points for rulership. So if you're looking at Saturn, then if it's in Aquarius or Capricorn, that's a 5. If We also want to see if the planet is in exaltation. So for instance, if Jupiter is in Cancer, that's exaltation, so that would get a 4. 3 for each triplicity ruler, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. 2 points for term, again, I'll talk about that later, and then 1 point for the decan or face. So when you're looking at the decan or face, each sign has 3 decans, and they have a ruler of each decan within that sign. So again, you're looking on that, you'll get a decan chart, and you'll be looking at, let's say we're looking at 14 degrees Aries. Where does that fall as far as decan face? You're also going to use the Egyptian terms. So she does offer in one of her webinars the Egyptian terms. So you're going to want to take note of the Egyptian terms, and that's for the 2 point. So you're saying, like, again, 14 Aries, what is the Egyptian term? Then you're looking at the Dorothean triplicy rulers. So for instance, if you have Cancer, then there'll be 3 rulers. And so you'll be looking at each of them. They each get 3 points in the factor. And then again, I talked about the decan face. If you're not a skilled astrologer, you'll probably also want to have a chart of the ruler, exaltation, and fall detriment. Again, when you're pretty skilled, you just know this in your sleep. Oh yeah, Jupiter exalted in Cancer. And so you already know this, but if you're not intimately familiar with those, you'll want to have a chart to help you decide, does this get the 5, the 4? If it's in fall or detriment, it just doesn't get anything. But that is another part of the points. So once you get this Almuten of pregnancy, then you can apply this to timing. So trying to find ideal timing, like if you're looking at profections, like is it a year, like let's say your Almuten of pregnancy is Saturn, and actually she says if it's Saturn or Mars, that's actually helpful, because then it's actually helping you get pregnant. If Mars, we're in, like, for instance, a Mars year or a Saturn year, and that's your Almuten of pregnancy, then that's going to give you actually more chances for good timing, because you're looking at what Mars is doing and what Saturn is doing in those instances. Whereas, I mean, you're always happy with what Jupiter's doing no matter what. So if Jupiter's your Almuten of pregnancy, then you would actually get less chances. You're also seeing, like, how happy is that Almuten? Are they besieged? Are they really bad shape? Are they in fall detriment and they've got all these bad or challenging aspects to them? So you're going to want to see, like, how healthy are they? Where are they located? Is that a happy place or a place of joy for the planet? So you're looking at all of these things as far as timing. She mentioned she does solar arc timing. She tries to get a big window to work with and not just like one day. She did talk a lot about how she does not like the Jonas method, which I could kind of understand because I know a lot about fertility timing. And especially as you age, your timing gets shorter and shorter. When you're younger, your fertility period may be up to like 5 or 7 days. But so when you get older, your fertility period might just be a day. But you can fine tune when you are fertile in general. This is one thing I didn't really care for about her talks, as she was saying how, like, as we get older, like, you have such a small chance of getting pregnant. And part of that is because your fertility period is shortening. So if you read a book like Taking Charge of Your Fertility, you'll realize you can actually be fine attuned to when you are fertile. So actually you have a much higher chance, as long as all systems are go, because you know exactly when you are fertile through either measuring cervical fluid or measuring cervical position or doing OPKs, or so there's various ways that you will know that you are fertile. And so you'll know that that's the optimum time. But then according to the astrological cycles, there will be times that, like, everything is correct, but yet nothing happens. And especially as you get older, if there's issues with the sperm and such, then it may be more difficult to get pregnant. And so you want to be working with the astrological times to know when is an optimum time window. So you know if you're fertile or not if it's that time of the cycle. You know how long your cycle is. Oh, and I also forgot measuring your temperatures. You can also see the waves and flows of your cycle. So as long as you're in tune with your fertility, then this can give you an extra jump because you'll know, oh, I'm getting like a prime time for fertility coming up. You know, Jupiter is going to be on the ascendant. Jupiter is going to be in the fifth house. My Almuten of pregnancy is going to be trining my fifth. So you'll know all of these factors to when you could be have astrology at your back, or these times when you actually might be having challenges. Like let's say you have Saturn in your fifth, and Saturn is not the Almuten of pregnancy. So I'm going to be talking more about this book, but I am just super excited about this book. And I'm looking for people to practice with if you have fertility challenges or you're curious about your fertility. If you see this video years from now, I may not be practicing anymore. But just reach out to me at theacademicastrologer@gmail.com, and we'll see if you're a good fit for my practice sessions. Again, I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.